going on there? Yes, we're here for the reaction to Fulham 1, Man United 1. We've had a slight discussion backstage. That's why it took us slightly longer to set ourselves up. I wonder if you could guess which one of us is the most angry with the performance today. We'll give you 3 guesses. We'll give you 3 guesses. One of them's not me. The other one's not Yaman. The other one's not Rio. Rebel man, welcome man. We're gonna try and cheer you up today, bro. We're gonna try and pick some positives out of what was a rather lackluster last maybe hour of the game for us. But look, let me before I go any further, let me have some manners. Let me say a couple of howdies. Andrew, we see you in the house, man. I already knew you was going to be in here venting, my friend. Peter Pillow, I hope you're doing well, man. I knew you was going to be here too. Tyrone, what's happening, my friend? telling Andrew to calm down. Mr. Potus, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. The formation's not going to change. Who else am I going to be saying hello to before we start? Yes, Tyrone's bigging up everyone in the house. Okay. Where do we start? Let's start with the lineup. No Anana today. Bayinde played in goal again. He actually said it was tactical, which means that I think Anana's goose is now well and truly cooked at Old Trafford. I think they probably wanted him to leave, and maybe this was the sign to say, you know what, it doesn't matter, being they made a mistake, you're still not going to play. Now they've got a week maybe to try and sort out whatever's going to happen there. Back three, Shaw, Yoro and De Ligt. Midfield, Dorgu one side, Ahmad started instead of Dallo, who started the last game. Bruno, Casemiro, and obviously we had Mount, Cunha and Mbeumo playing. Anybody have an issue with the starting 11?
Striker, obviously.
We were going backwards a bit, Rebel. Last week, a lot of people complained about Dallo starting, so it was good to see Diallo start away from home because he's supposed to be the less defensive sort of right wing back. So I like to see him start. I think he needs more confidence, more game time. I would be picking him right now, even if Maz gets fit. I would be picking him in that position because it gives you good balance there. He's someone who can go forward. He's got to learn the position. He's not a natural wing back, but he's doing so well for us in that position. He gives us so much going forward, which we lack in those wide areas. So I was happy to see Ahmad play today.
Anybody else?
I don't know anymore. Like I'm really, my head's gone. I don't rate Diallo. I really don't in that position more specifically. But then I hate Dallo. So stuck. And then on the other side, Dorgu. I'm happy with Dorgu. I don't mind Dorgu. There's still a lot for him to improve on. And then obviously we didn't play with Shesko, but for me, you couldn't drop Mount. You couldn't drop Mount after last week's performance, so I didn't really mind that front three setup. I was kind of, I had my understanding that Shesko weren't going to play today, or like start at least. And then obviously centre back trio, was happy with them. I was disappointed Ugarte didn't play, to be honest. I don't mind Ugarte. I'd prefer him over Casemiro.
Okay. Was that just because he gets around the pitch?
Yeah. Ultimately, he gets around the pitch. Like Casemiro does that thing. He did it again, where he did that. I'm not going to get the ball, so I'm going to try and do this fancy-looking slide and make it look like I've just been done. No, he just dropped and fell to the floor, so he ain't got the legs. So I'm a Ugarte fan, to be fair. So yeah, ultimately, I'm okay with the lineup, but we're just stuck with the cards that we're dealt with.
at the moment. Let me just get a couple of these messages up. Andrew, I've been saying all summer, Roomin won't see Christmas. The shape not working. We are getting bullied and run past in central midfield. Cunha and Yoro class. The rest of the team dire. Where is the coaching to protect Bayinde from set pieces? Do we not learn from our mistakes? The day Bruno said he was staying, I said, let's have a look. Sorry.
Can I just come in on that one, Mr. B?
Yeah.
He mentioned about protected by Inder. You shouldn't have to protect the bloody Premier League level goalkeeper. They should be strong enough and bad enough to look after themselves. I'm sorry, it's just a simple fact that Ben the Year, like Onana, is crap. Onana came back not fit, underwhelming to the squad and to the coaches, and that's why Onana suddenly got an injury, because he was not where he should have been when he returned to the squad. And as a result of that, we end up having to play this Turkish person that seems to have no hands whatsoever, has no strength, and is completely and utterly inept every time any bit of a set piece comes in.
I actually agree. I actually agree with that to a certain extent. The fact that he came back unfit. My issue with Onana, and I said at the time, was why would a goalkeeper be playing 90 minutes on pitches that he played on in the summer? You know what I mean? That's the time when you're supposed to be resting, but for him to be running up and then he comes back with a dodgy hamstring. Yeah, I understand. They probably are pissed off with him deep down, but and maybe trying to make him suffer as a player, but it's also making us suffer. We've got two under. Look, let's be honest. We've got two poor level goalkeepers. I'm not sure what the issue is, why they ended up. You know, how you could end up having two. You know, normally you have one bad one, but we actually ended up buying two bad ones. But look, maybe that situation is going to change. Okay, so we had Bayinde. The start of the game, obviously Cunha had his chance, and we were fluid. We looked positive. We looked like we carried on from where the Arsenal, from the Arsenal game. I'll ask you, Yaba, what do you think went wrong? I mean, obviously we did dominate the game for a certain extent, but the last hour, maybe of the game, we'll do the whole game. The last hour of the game, we seemed to not be able to create too much and ended up getting penned back. What did you feel was the issue?
I just think we're playing in top level Premiership football. I mean, the physicality, the strength, they made some good substitutions as well. We're playing away from home in a really tough stadium to get a result in for Man United in recent years. CRAVEN COTTAGE is really compact, and the fans are on them to get that equaliser. And once they got the equaliser, they had the momentum to push on. And we, fair play to the guys, they resisted a lot of pressure. They had, some really good pressure against us in the last third of the game, and we resisted it as much as we could. We're going to have moments. Every team, unless you're elite, top three teams, you're going to have moments against any Premiership team where you're going to be on the back foot, and we had that moment today, and we survived it. Even though they equalised everything, we kind of showed a bit of resistance there. We didn't collapse completely, because I felt they were going to go on and score another goal, and I was happy the way we were compact and defended well, and really sort of made ourselves quite resilient in that respect. But we're going to get that in every game. Fulham is not an easy game. They're a very good side, as they proved, bringing on Smith Rowe, bringing on Robinson. These are really strong, physical, technical, good players. And so fair play to them. Obviously, we're disappointed. We would have loved to have the 3 points. Maybe when we went 1-0 up, or Bruno missed the penalty, but when we went 1-0 up, that's the time when the manager needs to show some sort of conservative play. And I think this is, for me, just throwing it out there, for me, you need someone. Casemiro, I agree with the comments. I agree with you guys. I think Kobbie mainly needs to be playing in the side, because that way, in a position like that, we keep the ball, we give it to Kobbie, he manages the ball really well, we work it backwards, start again, turn over the ball, start again, restart the plays, and he's really good at that. Casemiro, plays a good few passes, but he plays these long direct balls, trying to break the lines and all that, and we give the ball away. In this situation like that, we're 1-0 up away from home. How do you manage that? Spurs will 2-0 up against City yesterday. they managed it with a manager who was rigid and is able to sort of adapt to situations. So that's what I would have liked to have seen. A player like Kobbie on the pitch to manage the ball and the manager to sort of switch things up, make us a bit more conservative where we can manage the win and get a 1-0 win away from home, which would have been great for us.
Both of you two are silent.
I need to take issue with the credit that's been given to Fulham. They're not the Fulham side that have been kind of peaking in higher mid-tables for the last couple of seasons. This, in terms of Fulham side, they're average. They're going to be down around the bottom 5 to 7 places in the Premier League come the end of the season. And we made them look like prime Barcelona. And let's be honest with it, yeah. They were robbed. They should have had their 3 points. That wasn't a goal. We had a shove in the box and it should have been disallowed. But let me get started with where I have my first issue. Bruno Fernandes. He is one of the highest paid players in the Premier League and in Manchester United Football Club. And he let a bloody referee zone him out on that penalty kick. Then, about 10 minutes later, he's too busy yapping and mouthing instead of watching what's going on around him and gets promptly dispossessed. We were absolutely all over the place during that game. And then some of the tactical decisions. Having a double pivot of Mason bloody Mount and Bruno Fernandes in your midfield.
Wait, can I say something to that? Remember I said to you guys, Mason Mount's going to end up playing in Bruno's position. And you lot said to me, no, he doesn't have. See, the one thing with Mason Mount, all these managers don't pick Mason Mount, don't keep picking Mason Mount because he's a shit player. Mason Mount plays to instruction. Like Rio said earlier, just a little while ago, Mason Mount didn't deserve to be dropped. It's now up to Amarin to find a position where Mason Mount can actually play maybe the whole game and not be played here, there, and everywhere. Because really and truly, Agate should have been coming on for Casemiro, but because he trusts Mason Mount more than Agate, Mason Mount is a technically better player than Agate. You understand? So now I think he's got more issues with trying to get to keep Mason Mount in the team. Now, if
you know what he did?
Go on.
Sorry, you know, that's bang on. That's bang on. What he did, and you've kind of hit the nail right on the head, to be fair. He moved Mason Mount in that game, and I know it's going to sound really controversial. I thought Mbeumo was having a shocking game. You should have took Mbeumo off and just, pluck up the courage to say, I know you're my 2 fancy new toys. Mount's actually playing well. Keep Mount in, one of the 10s, instead of moving him back into the void to say, he's the token gesture, I want to keep him on. You bang on. You're absolutely bang on. Mbeumo was having a shocking game. It should have been him to come off if you want to keep Mount on.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think Bruno was, I was expecting him to do more today, but there's a couple of times physically he was going for a run and who's the big Bassi? I mean, this is like, it's really tough. I've played against good defenders like that. You can't get a change out of them. And for Mbeumo not to get anything out of these guys, being as physically strong and fast he is, shows you, that's when he needs to add something more to his game, technically maybe, and use his brain, say, right, I'm not going to get much change out of this guy, or think, let me try and drop into an area where I can pick up the ball and link things up and that kind of thing. So I was a bit disappointed with his performance today, but obviously it's early days for him. And it's early days in the season as well before we start trashing everything. It's still early days. And like you said, we said last week, Xisco, whatever, he can't start him because it maybe gets injured. We've got Grimsby coming up. We've got a few, tough games. We're going to start seeing him start, and he will be the head of the, he to be the target man, the guy to lead us. And when I've seen him on the pitch today, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm really nodding, saying he looks like a proper player. He looks like someone we need in there to hold up the ball, to bring people into play. And I'm really excited about him, the prospect of him playing once we get settled down in this league and start moving forward.
I think, though, you're overlooking something. It's early in the season, but Ray Charles can see that there's a problem in midfield. There's a problem at goalkeeper. And if we don't address them, we're going to be watching this crap week in, week out. We've learned absolutely nothing from last season. People used to be giving out about -9, and he was getting bare barn service. He brought on Sesko in that second half. How many bits of service did he actually get? Maybe
That's why
one.
I think it's going to be better when he starts, because when he came on, the game was in such a mess for United. There was no control or any system of play that they could have put down to. We already spoke about Mason Mount being in there. Obviously, he kept Bruno on for the full 90. Johnny Hill's got it here. Look, he wants Amarin sacked now. His decision making is pathetic. Bruno plays a full 90 again, which I agree that he shouldn't have been playing. He was absolutely trash. Subs off Ahmed for Portuguese Fred, and then brings on Agate. Now, some of that you can't really you can't really fault. You know, some of his decision making was a bit weird. Calming Tones has jumped on. How you doing, Calming Tones? And he's saying Ben Tesco. Well, look, you can't do it if you don't have chances. You know, Dancing with Wolves. 1 second.
You go, go for
Hi
it.
guys. Well, that was a hard watch again. Going to be a long season. Dallo should have been sold a long time ago. Never been good enough. I actually know who this is now. Yeah, I knew it was you. As soon as I saw the 200 million. I hope you're doing well, man. We'll see you on Friday. We'll give you a full mute. Don't worry, we'll give you a full mute, man.
Big up, Tony.
He's saying we need to start Kobbie dancing with the devil. Sorry, Rio.
It's to go back to one of the comments again. I love Amram. I will keep saying that. But decision making today, we needed a goal, and I was trying to think back to when we needed a goal when we had Sir Alex, and he would bring on strikers, he'd bring on attackers. He subbed off two centre backs to bring on two centre backs. And I was just like, we need a goal. Yes, admittedly, I think Maguire had a good chance off the back of it. It was during the corner. I think we had a corner and he made the subs. But I'm just like, you've got Xerxes on the bench as well. That's raring to go. What an opportunity for him to come back into the team and have a go, try and get us a goal. So it's a frustrating day, very frustrating day.
I agree with Rio on that front. I couldn't believe when I saw two centre backs coming on, and we had Josh Xerxes still on the fucking bench. Calvin Toons is saying that Amarin's not ready for the league, but if you hand any manager, be it Arteta, Pep, Slot, I don't care who it is, that midfield and that goalkeeper are broken beyond repair. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't know where Bruno's head was at today.
Right, so I want to say something. So on when we played Arsenal, and we dominated. We had more chances. I know we take everything game by game, but was the midfield the issue with the Arsenal game?
Here's my issue, and I think we play against the Arsenals, the Cities. We turn up and we punch high, but every single time then we come back and we play one of the so-called lesser sides, we struggle. We look poor. We look like we have no tactics. We look like we have no plan. We look like there's absolutely nothing functional on that team. It's very easy to turn up against an Arsenal, a City, because they're not going to play the same way as a Fulham or a Burnley or any of these sides. And they give you a bit of extra space because they believe in their own football. We've done this all last season. We played well against bigger sides, and we played chronic against the lesser sides.
Okay. All right.
Look, I know it's like not long after the game, and sometimes emotions are running high and everything. But I did, Rebel, you're quite scathing with your opinion about we had no plan, no tactics, no thing. I mean, you have to be a bit more fairer than that. We did play okay. We did try and create a few chances against a tough team. We have to remember where we're at. Like literally, we finished where last season. We're not there yet. Let's give it a few games to get settled. Like I'm saying, sometimes you need games like this for the manager to realize who he can trust and who he can't, and who needs to be playing well.
Still?
Yeah, I think sometimes, because you sometimes get a bit of loyalty. Mr. B, your manager on Saturdays. Sometimes you pick a team, this guy paid his subs, he's turned up, I got to play him. He's for loyalty. or but at this level, it's like the same thing does apply sometimes. I'm hearing a lot of fans talk about the Portuguese favoritism and everything. It just gets silly. I don't think it's the case. Bruno might have missed a penalty today, but he's someone who tries to make things happen for us. If he scores that, no one would really go on about it. If we get the 3 points, I just think there's a lot of games to go. We need to start churning, getting things going, start getting used to what happens. Remember a couple of seasons ago, players and results kind of, it helps to bring certain players in and they could establish themselves. We got this new striker coming in. We've got the 2 10s, playing. And then behind that, obviously, once everyone's talking about the midfield, I think Harry Maguire should be starting. No doubt about it.
Instead of who? Sorry. Instead of who? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
are you bloody mad?
Yeah,
but please.
And
this is the favoriting part of the conversation that you were just talking about.
No, I still think
how is Delete? How is Harry? Has Delete played bad in the 2 games that he's played?
I don't necessarily he's played bad, but I think Harry Maguire is, for me, a better player. He gives you more, especially in the Premiership. Today, we talk about the corners and everything else. People don't realise how much Harry Maguire clears. Boom, you just get used to it. Everyone ignores it. No one picks out and says, that was fantastic.
Why Harry Maguire can't play ahead of Delete?
This guy is winning every single
Harry Maguire can't play ahead of Delete? Because he can't do what Delete does on the ground when it goes to tracking the players.
I think Maguire is good. I think Maguire is good. But out of all the issues we have in the team right now, the centre back trio is not an issue right now. But I'm not saying Maguire is bad. I just don't think you need to touch that centre back trio at the moment. If you're going to change anything, don't touch them.
We're talking about, I'm just responding to Rebel. He's saying everything's bad and we're not seeing anything good. But if you want to improve, this is what we're here for. It's brilliant.
Yeah, man. Can I just say, we lost that game.
Sorry?
We lost that game. We got a dodgy refereeing decision that allowed a goal that shouldn't have stood. That result should have been 1-0 to Fulham.
Rebel. What's good about shows like this, we can talk after the game and have discussions about certain things. No one's right or wrong. We've all got our opinions and everything. But I'm just saying to improve and certain things, like last week, no one wants Dalot. We bring in Ahmad. We talk about Cisco should be playing. I'm saying, to add to that, I'm just saying Harry Maguire for me, because he's a proven Premiership player and the amount of stuff he wins in situations like that today, when corners are coming in and all that kind of thing. He didn't start against Arsenal. We can see the set piece. Today, we was flapping at corners. Really, no one to muscle.
That's the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's the goalkeeper, but also a defender can come in and deal with things. So for me, it's Harry Maguire is also. I'm going to add him to the thing to say I think should be starting, and then you can bring in Delete throughout the season or whatever. But he's obviously made a decision to say Delete is my main man, and so until he starts playing badly, we're not going to see Harry Maguire. But once again, Harry Maguire will prove probably at the end of the season that he gets retribution and he should be playing. That's just my opinion. I just think he's a great defender in the Premier League with everything that he wins in the air. And his passing is just as good as Delete, if not better. He sprays balls. He can carry the ball. He's still a class act, in my opinion. But that's I know people go on it, but that's just my.
I agree with you. Last season, I was happy for Maguire to play over Delete last season, but I think now Delite's come in, he's found his feet. I don't want to touch that. I think Delete is overall. If you said to me 9 times out of 10, who do you want to be in the team? It would be Delete. Last season, no, it would have been Maguire. But on a clean slate, blank canvas, what player is better? Delete is the better player.
Can I?
I'm not disputing. That's your opinion. I mean, I can't argue with that. But I'm just trying to justify why I think Maguire.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's not much between them, but I just feel that he has a slight advantage of experience and what he wins. And I don't think he gets as much acknowledgement for all the dirty work and the winning of headers that he wins, which helps us. So Delete does some things, but it's like last minute tackles and blocks and all that. But is he really?
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. That's good.
Can I just pick up a point from Andy Williams briefly? Because I want to clarify, because he's insulting my intelligence a bit. And if he was listening to my point, you shouldn't have to, is what I said, protect the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper should be strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet, command the box, issue instruction to where they want their defenders. You should not have to turn around and be in a position where you have a keeper that is not of the quality for the Premier League. We should have got a proper keeper in if Ruben Amorim designated that when Onana came back into pre-season that there was something wrong. We should have gone out and done that business. We're now talking about your man Lemons coming in, and he's going to end up behind the 8 ball 4 or 5 weeks behind everybody else. And he's going to have to adapt to a new league. And I'm not sure if even that is the way forward in terms of new number one. At the moment, Manchester United does not have a Premier League keeper. And the fact that we have to make alterations to protect the keeper is nonsensical and is a negligent outcome by our recruitment team.
I actually agree with that. You're in a position, you cover your own area. You know what I mean? Goalies get protection to a certain extent, but the fact that everybody seems to be sticking it on our goalie's head in corners, obviously people, these professionals who have got all of these contraptions that they use, you know, to work out weaknesses, have seen that. They haven't bought a goalkeeper, I get it. But to then be having to protect a goal, that's his position. That is his house. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand you protect it to a certain position, but then if you concentrate on protecting your goalie, what about all of the players who you're supposed to be looking at because you're worried about your goalie not being able to come out? So he's got to have a comment. For me, he's got to have at least some sort of command of his area, and Bayinda doesn't. He doesn't have. He came out for one, and he was a good 2.5, 3 inches away from actually claiming the ball. And this is after this is still the first half. So we know we've got a problem in midfield. We know we've got a problem as goalkeeper. The goalkeeper situation, whether or not they want Onana out, whether they want they're proving a point. We know that Lemons is coming in. That's as good as done because he didn't play the game he was supposed to play today. So that deal is done. The club now got 4 days, 5 days a week to sort out a central midfield, but that's for another show. The Casemiro-Bruno partnership, we know, doesn't work against the smaller teams, the lesser teams. People are talking in the chat about changing formation. He's not going to change his formation. Like I'm black and I can't change to white, some things just will not be happening. Well, that's Michael Jackson. The closest is going to be is if I get a big beard and I cover my face with it. You know what I mean? That is it. So he's not going to change. So big up Nicholson. Bless you, brother. I should have said that. Guys, if you are watching, please please subscribe. We're looking for 23, 24, 25. We're looking for a 25 before we go any further.
Can I broach a debate? Because I'd like the viewers to actually come in on this. In reality, I think our season rests between now and when the window closes on Monday week. If we do not address central midfield so that we can establish a platform in games, 15th might be our ceiling this year. Because we are going to get eaten in midfield. And in order to utilize those 3 marquee signings that we brought in up top, we're going to need a platform for it to be based off of. And that comes with having a functional midfield.
I get that. But for the first, okay. The 2 best chances of the first half fell to who? Cunha. One off the post and the long ball from Bayinda.
Oh, wow.
Right. So there's little things that we forget happen in the game because obviously we're blinded by the rage. Bayinda hit that pass. It was a first time pass. He actually hit it. The control, the save by Leno was great, but the control by Cunha and then the volley as well. That's why Bayinda is playing over Onana. Though I think it's things like that. I mean, you know me, I'm trying to be a little bit positive. The chance that Cunha had, he got in, he curled the ball, it hit the post again. We could have been 2-0 up after 15 minutes. We weren't. And then we suffered because then they got themselves back into the game. So my thing is with like you, Yaba, we need to start with the killers up front. We need to start with Sesko. I understand why Sesko didn't start. He's just come in. He's probably not as fit as they want him to be, which is fine. Mount played well in the last game, but again, I think that's a conundrum that he then has to sort out. So little bits and pieces work. I think that the pace that the team started with as well, they were aggressive for 20 minutes. Really, yeah, say 20 minutes. They were aggressive. And then if we had taken I know it's a big if the team had taken their chances, then it would have been a different game. It wasn't. It turned into what it was. Knowing that Amrin's not going to change and knowing that Bruno is going to stay in midfield, we're now talking about, we've always talked about, obviously, Baleba is your guy, Rebel, because he can do two players' jobs. With Bruno in the team, we are now, like with the goalkeeper, maybe trying to cover for his deficiencies in it. Because once he loses his head, which he did because the referee walked into his back, don't take the piss. Bruno doesn't take penalties where he blasts them over the bar. Bruno doesn't take those blasty. His penalty is always the same. So if he can get himself so wound up, maybe emotionally his head is already gone. Amrin now has to decide what he's doing. We were speaking off screen about Kobbie not getting any game time today. I feel that Kobbie's position is, you've got Agate Casemiro, you've got Kobbie, Bruno. But the competition isn't fair because Bruno never comes off. Kobbie may well start in that position against Grimsby on Wednesday. But we as fans, I can't see that one. If we buy Baleba, he unlocks Mainu boot. Yeah, that's the point. But Mainu's now not getting the opportunity. We want Mainu to sign the contract so he stays. But if you're Kobbie, what are you thinking at the moment? You've 2 games you've played. You've had. Did he play in the first? He didn't play in the first game, right? He's had no game time. What
right
are you now thinking when your contract wants to be renewed? They already weren't going to pay you the money that you think that you're owed. But if you're going to pay him less money, at least play him so that he feels that he's part of what's going on. You know,
right now I'm telling my agent, find me a new club.
Yeah, but you're Mr. Positive. What are you? You're Kobbie at the moment, guys in the chat. You're Kobbie. What are you saying to your agent?
Well, Kobbie has to decide whether he's got a future at the club, and for him, for now, right this time period, I would be saying to Kobbie, grind down, establish yourself in the club and into the squad again. When he under 10 Hag, he got himself into this team. It was all happened so fast. He was playing for England before you knew it, and he was bossing midfields, you know. So we know he can do it. It's just that now he's got to come back from injury and establish himself back in his team. And through games like this, like we saw today, disappointments, manager will make changes and give people opportunities. When he gets the opportunity, he needs to show the fans and most importantly, the manager that he can do the job. And I feel he can do that job. Just give him game time. Rio.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's an issue. We know there's an issue. It is screaming out for an opportunity. It's screaming out for Kobbie to take this opportunity. Amrim's not an idiot. He's not a fool. Hopefully, he's seeing Kobbie in training. He's seeing him crack on, and Kobbie's going to take the chance. He will get minutes. He definitely will get minutes. I think he come out and said that, there's going to be opportunities for players. You know, it's a long season. Yes, we're only in one kind of main competition, but there will be minutes out there. And I think, Yaba, you're bang on. You know, it wasn't that long ago we was like singing his praises. You know, Wolves away goal, last minute goal. Twinkle toeing, scoring that last minute winner. Like, I still remember that now. That player is still there. That player is absolutely still there. I'm convinced of it. It's just obviously a system situation. It will happen. It will happen. Is that at the expense of Bruno? I don't think so. I don't think Bruno's going anywhere. I don't think you can let Bruno go anywhere. It's too late in the window. I know there's talks of 90, 100 mil.
Is it too late? I'm gonna we speak about it being too late.
I think it's.
I'm gonna say something to you, right? If they could get a midfielder in we're not talking about Belabor. Let's just forget about that level of midfielder. If he can get a system midfielder in the week that we've got left, I'm more than happy to let Bruno go. One, the problem is the club are pandering to the players. They gave Bruno the option when it first came, when it was first muted. You either decide that you're going to sell him, like Liverpool would have done, and taken the money and had the replacements lined up, or you squash all talk. The fact that this might be true, it might be false, it might be misinformation for all we know, but there's no smoke without fire. I actually feel that Bruno's maybe set up to go next season. They've said, give us this year, the Ronaldo type thing, and you could go next year. Bruno wants to play in the World Cup. He's going to be settled at Man United. He'll be playing every game. Maybe that's what they did. I'm just speculating, but you can't speculate about Bruno's performances on the pitch. And this is yeah, go on.
Mr. Beak, this is a question I want to ask you. The manager has to decide who he sees as the future player in that role. He's currently putting Bruno into a role that, let's be fair, is not his optimal position, I don't believe.
I don't think he has a role in Amorim's formation, though. I actually don't.
But here's the thing. If he believes that Kobbie Mainoo is the player that he needs to build Manchester United's future team on, then maybe the optimal thing is, even if we don't get the desired replacement in selling Bruno, that we take the money, and even if the season doesn't turn out the way we want it, play Kobbie week in, week out, and let him take control of that position.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. The problem is that Bruno is still at the club, and that's where you've got to look at it. It's levels, isn't it? What have you got here? What have you got up here, Rebel?
I got a few items.
This is going overboard, though. I get it, but I think we're jumping. Let's not forget about Arsenal. Let's not forget about that performance.
But we Rebel, Rio, the reasoning is that they're a big team and they're not going to sit back. That's why we're able to play like that. I don't think that. I think we're able. I look at that first 20 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't enough.
I blame our 2-10s today. I know, and it's not.
What 2-10s? Who 2-10s? You're going to blame Cunha.
I'm blaming Cunha. Looked good for the. You're thinking about the two nice, wonderful chances he had in the first 10 minutes. Today, Cunha and Mbeumo were not up to scratch. Not
Mbeumo,
today.
Maybe Mbeumo. I'm not going to fault Cunha. When there was
the difference they had, the difference last week, where they were both looking inside to receive the ball from the centre mids and the centre backs. For whatever reason, that wasn't happening today. That's why Cunha kept on getting it against Arsenal and could turn and then, do his bits, spots and blah blah blah. I understand, yeah. Fulham were playing in a little bit more of a lower block today, so that opportunity didn't arise as much. I just think it was just a bad day at the office for the 2-10s. I'm not saying that they were shocking. But I just think compared to last week, there is a contrast in performance. But sorry, Rebel. I know you've got the quote up from Laurie Whitwell.
Yeah, there's a few quotes I've actually picked up here. One was from Laurie Whitwell. A performance with the hallmarks of last season for Manchester United. Bright start, loud drift, lack of edge. Maguire plus Heaven brought on rather than Mainoo, who has scored crucial late goals for Manchester United. Indicates Amorim's weighing of set pieces, but also Mainoo's current place in the squad. Basically suggesting that maybe he doesn't fancy him. Quote number 2 from BN Sports, Germany obviously. Since April at Man United, have won fewer points than all other present Premier League clubs. And Leicester City, who now play in the Championship, have more Premier League points during that time. Do you trust the process? And the final one is from Marco Silva on Manchester United. We knew how they defend, and we know they like to squeeze from the back five. And if you don't give bodies for them to squeeze from the back five, you can create superiority in midfield. We know they play with 2 in the middle. We tried to overload our 3 plus Alex. It was as simple as that. So, do we accept that he was tactically outclassed from the sideline?
No, I still don't. I'm not gonna accept that we go back to the Arsenal, and I see it. It can work. It can work. And I said, I look at the chances. I look at the fact that Sesko's not starting. We've got improvements. We've got improvements to make in the team. I understand that nobody wants to see this 3-4-3 because nobody's ever seen it. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't work. But for me, the fact that everybody wanted a manager come in with a system and a style of play. Because it's a style that nobody bloody likes, everybody wants it to change back to the predictability, you know? So
is it a question of whether we like it or whether it actually works and can be functional?
I like it. I like it when it works. I like it when it works.
We're talking about getting belaboring into this central midfield because you believe that it can work with a certain type of central midfielder. Wharton, we're saying it can work with a certain type of central midfielder. We don't have that certain type of central midfielder, and the club haven't gone out and bought that certain type of central midfielder. Go on, Yabba.
So, yeah, we're talking about the system, and obviously everyone's emotional right now. But a really good example for me is a team that's been dominating the Premiership for many years. That's Man City under Pep. Now, he's all about system. He tinkers things, whatever. But he has to have the players in the system for it to click and perform. And when Rodri got injured, it seems like they haven't got back to that level yet. They even lost yesterday. And that's one player in midfield, which is really key for them, a world-class player. So I'm open to, and I do understand the system will work if you've got one of the best players in each position. That can really work for you. And at the moment, we're talking about Casemiro for his deficiencies of being, not physically at the races in the Premier League. And then we talk about his partner in crime for the last 2 games in Bruno, who's not really used to that position. And I just want to quickly summarize 30 seconds on Bruno, where I think the issue is. I think he's a leader. I think it's very positive because he's come to the club when the club really hasn't won anything for years. He's really tried to transform the club by saying, I will take the burden on my shoulders. I will be the creative force. I will do everything. He needs to tone that in a bit now because we've got other players there that can actually score the goals and do that kind of thing. I just think it's a mentality thing with him. Great player. I just think he needs to sit there now and play in that thing. Don't break your box, as in your double pivot. Don't break your box where you leave in your position too much. Hold that position. Play it there because I was watching today when we were building up. You need those 2 there at all times. And then you need to squeeze up, play in their half, and dominate the play, having 2 players there. So if there is a transition, we've got that rest defense there where we're not going to get played through. What I don't like is, as Marco Silva was saying there, anyone can see it. There's no genius. I mean, I think it was Slot last year. Everyone was cussing because he said, this is how Man United play, or this is what we did. And Marco Silva is saying the same thing. We can all say that. We all know how Man United play, 2 in midfield, how De Ligt squeezes up and tries to compress the play with a back 5. We all know there's nothing genius there. It's just that some fans who are a bit maybe naive will say, oh, look at that. He's tactically outclassed us or whatever, just by stating this is how we play. You can go watch Gary Neville's talk about Fulham's performance today and say, this is how Fulham play. There's nothing bad about that. It's just that's the system we play. And maybe if you get like Rodri's situation, if we get a good player in midfield, then maybe we'll step it up again. Likewise, we're getting Cunha in instead of Garnacho in that position. We could. It's a development. The system will work. We just need to maybe get better players in there, especially in midfield and especially in goalkeeper, and then we can start making a real.
And that is my point. And that is my point. We're talking about Amarin.
Rebel, so negative.
Rebel, man.
Rebel,
you know
so
what,
negative.
Rebel? Take it off, man. You're doing my fucking head in. I swear, bro. You're doing my head in.
Rebel, man.
Fucking hell. Rebel, I get it. I get that you're pissed, Rebel. I get it so much, bro.
I was sitting here listening to Yabba talk about strategy and tactics. 4 games out of 28 matches against current Premier League teams.
Does the season start from the beginning of the season? Does it start from last season? Because if that's the case, then he's got no chance because his record's gonna be shit.
Well,
you can't be using stats from last season. That's not fair. That's not fair.
You start from 2025, 2026 is where we need to start from. We haven't got the win in those 2 games. But if you're going to be going back to fucking history lessons, we may as well be talking about when the fucking dinosaurs were roaming, or going back to talking about the night up to the 1970s when they got relegated. It
I
don't
watched
make no
Jurassic Park
sense.
today as well.
It
But
doesn't
for
make no
me-
sense.
For me, there's still mega similarities to this season, last season, in that it's the same deficient midfield and it's the same deficient keepers, and they are the foundation of the football team.
Yeah, but those are positions that
changing,
they
it's
haven't
changing.
changed.
They're
Those
changing.
are
They're
positions that
changing.
they haven't changed.
They're changing. They're changing. Rebel, I say, you do you want? I'm gonna go into cliche terms, Aaron out, but do you want him gone?
I want change in our midfield, and I want, like, if we want to improve on those dire statistics from last year, if we don't address central midfield and goalkeeper by the end of the window, which is at 7:00 on September 1st on a Monday, then Ineos have literally fired them, because they have not given them the tools to be able to have a solid foundation to take advantage of Seshko, of Mbumo, of Cunha, and I'm starting to wonder, have we been unfair on Rasmus Højlund? Because if poor Seshko receives the same crappy service, then he's going to be told he's shit as well, because you need a quality of ball into strikers. I know Rasmus is not the best striker in the world, but you cannot expect a striker to function if he hasn't got quality of ball coming into him.
Excuse me. Sorry, can I answer that? I think Rasmus, he was there. He been there for 2 seasons now? Is it?
Yeah.
2 seasons. So about quality of service, it's not just about service in the box. It's about build-up play. When the balls are played into Rasmus, he doesn't do well with the ball. You know, he doesn't manage the ball well, and that's just a standard thing. So right, pop into feet, bounce back pass, brilliant cut play. He struggles with that. I think you'll see. It's like day and night, Seska. I think you see a better performance in that. Regarding balls into the box, it's like when Ericsson turned up at the club. You know, once you see after a few weeks by training together, you see people trusting. Ericsson might have a man on his back. He's still playing to his feet because they trust him. And I think the same will apply with Sesko. They will start trusting him in training to see what he's got and say, right, we can play that ball into him, or we can play the ball into the channel. He's fast enough to get it. This is how you get familiarity with your players and how you build as a team. You know, so I think there's a big difference. Rasmus has had 2 years there. We've seen his deficiencies. It's really clear as day. And I think he's got a long way to go as a footballer at the highest level. Whereas Sesko's developed at a different stage in Germany, and he's come over here. He's got the physicality, he's got the touch, he's got the ability to score with his head as well, and he's going to link up the play. And I think once we see more of him, we're going to be more excited about the prospect of him, what he delivers as a figurehead number 9 for us. So I'm looking forward to that.
When it comes, it's probably going to be after. It's probably going to be after the transfer window. Let's get it done. The Fulham goal. I'm going to be honest. I actually don't remember it now. I'm talking to you guys, and I do not remember the Fulham goal.
Delo had the ball.
Remind me.
Delo had the ball. He played to him on the edge of the box. He tried some pirouette spin, lost it out wide. Idiot. He's yeah. And then they whipped it in, and I think the to be fair, did lose his man, and then they kind of got a cheap little tap in at the near post. Emil Smith wrote, no, Yaba. no.
Pow.
You walked into my trap.
I was waiting for that. You got me. No, but it was good. I give it. It was good movement rather than bad defender.
Rio, you mentioned at the top of the show, there is a problem in the wing backs as well. Like, I think Dorgu's a proper serviceable wing back, but if Dalot isn't what we need, then we have obviously Ahmed, who's doing a job for us there as opposed to Inatane, which I think is his best role. We don't actually have a whole pile of options unless we start playing Diego Leon and these unproven kids in there. So it seems like there's a third issue in the Manchester United squad, in that goalkeeper and central midfield are obviously priority, but we're probably lacking a bit in the wingers or the wing backs as well.
For me, that's the most important position as well in a 3-back formation. If your wing backs aren't doing it, you will be getting the ball back constantly. And I like Dorgu. There is a player there. He's young. He's new. I see Diogo Leon playing now against Burnley and obviously against Grimsby. I think there's an opportunity for him to play there. But yeah, Delo, I'm done with him. I am done with Delo. Really, I'm sick of him.
It's good. It's nice to hear. I forgot about Diego Leon. He's a great sign to come in. We've seen him pre-season. That's someone who can come in and say, yeah, oh my God, a bit of squad depth there now, isn't there? We got, if you look at the bench today, we've got Kobbie, we've got Sesko, you mentioned him earlier with Xerxes. I was talking to a guy after football this morning about Xerxes. We were saying, oh my God, if only, when we had options up front and everything else, if only they could start looking at him, because it seems like he might be staying at the club. So that's another player that can actually give us a different option. People might not like him or whatever, but big up David, because he told me today he's half Nigerian, and so he said, I'm backing him now because he's Nigerian. David's Nigerian. So yeah, I think we've got options there, but we've got a good squad, and then you've got the younger players as well to come in. So I'm really excited about seeing his play, especially with this Grimsby game. I know it's a bit embarrassing having to play this first league, round of games in the League Cup. But it's it could be a good opportunity for someone to really step up and shine to the point where you cannot overlook him anymore. Do you understand? The Diego Leons of this world, and maybe the Heavens and whatever, But or Kobbie Mainoo, for example. I really think it's time he sort of comes out and starts to sort of show that he deserves a starting spot in the squad, and even some minutes, as Mr. B was saying. He hasn't had any minutes yet. So yeah, look, it's early in the season. Yes, we didn't lose today away from Fulham. We didn't manage the game when we were 1-0 up. It's crucial when you're 1-0 up in the Premier League to sort of get the result and not give it away. And we knew the pressure was going to come, but they brought on a player in Smith Rowe, and he ghosted into the box. No one tracked him.
Who was supposed to be tracking him, though, don't you?
Was it? I would have thought it would have been Ugarte. I can't remember the goal, but
Bruno.
Was Bruno?
He ran off Bruno.
Okay, well there you go. If you're a player, you're probably going to do that, won't you? Because you think, all right.
And this is the point. Players managers live and die by decisions that they make. Bruno could have made the club £1 million, £100 million, and we could have gone out there and bought 3 players. Maybe 2 of them don't work, but 2 of them will work with the money that Bruno had. He's now here, and I'm not saying he's costing us games. He skied the penalty for whatever reason, and Bruno's been Bruno. I like Bruno, but I'll say as it is. If he stinks, he stinks, and today he stank. So the manager has to decide what he's doing, and if the competition is Bruno, and make it a fair one, make the competition a fair one, and have your vice captain ready to rock and roll for when Bruno doesn't play, like he did with Harry. Maguire was captain and they didn't pick him. So
Mr. B, do you think, do you give respect to the manager for actually casting out players? He's casted out the guys he didn't want, the 5 guys we said, the Garnachos, Malacia, the Sanchos, and whoever. Cast them out. He looks like he's casting out Onana. You said this today in the show. Looks like he's casting out Holland as well. That takes a lot of balls, to do that as a manager. Are you giving him credit for that?
Yeah, because he's stuck by his decisions. He now has to make the decision with Kobbie. If that's what he's going to do with Kobbie, my worry
is he casting them out, Kobbie?
I don't know. Yeah, but
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I would really, really like to hope not. I would really, really like to hope that that's not a decision or something that's going on in his head. But Onana hasn't played 2 games. I'm saying that he's casting Onana out. Kobbie hasn't played 2 games, but because Onana was first choice, is more why I think he's casting Onana out. The Mainoo one could be the same, but maybe I'm just looking at it with Mainoo bias. Maybe that he's not thinking that, because that's not the decision that I want him to make. But I just don't understand why I don't understand why Mainu is not getting any game time. That's
But
I know
you
it's 2
respect,
games.
but the question was, do you, like, and you as well, Ria and Rebel, do you respect the manager to see that he's put his foot down and said,
I do.
you guys, and done it in a way, you are cast out, you're not part of this team because you're not playing. And he's made that clear with the 5 players, Ganacho's, Sancho's, and everything else. But do you respect that as a manager to actually do that? No second chances. And is it clear he's doing that, Rio?
Yeah, absolutely. I respect it highly. There's a few more players I wish he did it with, to be honest. But you know, he'll be left with no squad at all if he did it with if he did it with more players. Well, no, I respect it. Yeah, you know, I respect it. I respect it. He's got to do what he's got to do, and I don't mind it at all. You know, as long as he doesn't, he needs to carry through, like go through with it. He can't turn his back and start changing it again. Like, no, if you're casting them out, that's it. They're done. So I think Onana is officially done.
Yeah, I agree. I think we had to address that squad. We've been talking about leaks and all these other business for the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. And the broom had to sweep at some point. But I do want to do something a little different. Tony, are you still here, Tony Lee? Come out and play, because I know you're enjoying it. I know you're loving the fact that Manchester United isn't the Manchester United that was there in the 90s and early 2000s. But, Tony, and I mean this with all love, you don't win the Premier League in November. You don't get a Premier League trophy for second place. And voila, Champions League trophy, Tony. Voila, Champions League trophy.
I love that.
Was it calming tone? It's got to be an aggressive tone coming back, I'm sure, after that. But yeah, you know what? Arsenal do look good. They've had a good start. We played against them. Defensively, they're sound. And they've had their years ahead of us as in development. But yeah, there he is. Calming tone. It's just saying, please.
Look, guys, obviously reactions are what they are. We don't want to keep this too long. We just want to keep it as to try and get our thoughts out. We are going to be back tomorrow.
I feel better now.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to talk. You might feel worse. You might feel worse. Come tomorrow, we're going to be back tomorrow with the good, the bad, and the ugly. There was a lot of ugly today. There was a little bits of good, and there was quite a few bits in there. So, Rebel, I know you're going to be hosting that one tomorrow. So, guys, look, we are going to be back tomorrow. I can't say it's not as bad as it seems. We all have our own thoughts and our own opinions. This season's going to be a long, hard, painful one. Hopefully, it's not going to be as long as hard and painful as the last season's one. But look, as long as you keep joining the agenda, keep following us, keep liking us, keep sharing the channel.
Just a quick one, Mr. B.
Yeah.
Just to remind people, we probably are going to be at the earlier time of 7 o'clock tomorrow due to Liverpool and Newcastle.
Oh,
so,
snap.
Trust the process, folks. Trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be on at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
The Isaac Derby.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, look, well, there you go then. Well done, Rebel. Guys, we're going to be back at 7 tomorrow. For the good, the bad, and the ugly, and for all the other breaking bits and pieces. There's going to be a lot of fallout from today. I expect people to come with stats and heat maps and blah, blah, blah. But actually, sometimes the eye test is the best test. Go on.
Can I ask people maybe to comment their good, bad, and ugly after the show has ended? And I might actually use some of them in the show tomorrow if they're in there. So get your good, bad, and ugly from today's game in this show's comments after it goes offline, and I'll pick up a few of them and screenshot them for the show tomorrow.
Nice. And just want to say, it's bank holiday, last bank holiday of the year. Is everyone enjoying their bank holiday weekends?
Yeah.
Any plan tomorrow, guys?
Work for me.
No, nothing. Might be going into the Birmingham City Centre, see a few wrestlers that'll come into Birmingham. But
who's
wrestlers?
Yeah. So WWE is coming to Birmingham tomorrow.
So, and they be walking around the ball ring or something.
There should be, yeah. There should be. So
look how excited Jabba got talking about wrestling. Look how
I'm a wrestling connoisseur. You know, I must
Oh
admit.
my God.
Since the 70s and 80s, I've been into wrestling. Good
Oh, yeah.
entertainment, good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're the larger than life figures. But I haven't been up to date with the WWE lately. I don't really watch it anymore as I used to. But if you ever need anyone for a quiz team, I'm on it. Who's champion at the moment? Cody Rhodes, isn't he? Cody Rhodes champion.
Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Two
And they're pushing
title
the
holders. Mr. B's like, what's going on? Mr. B's like, what's going on here?
No, but this is how we go off track sometimes to talk about things. Yeah, if you do it'd be great to see if you do bump into any of these wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You're real. You need to go all gas, no brakes, brother.
I have no
He
idea
knows,
what
he
you
knows.
is that some wrestling twang, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
letters.
Jesus, guys,
Four letters.
look,
One
guys, with that, it's goodbye from us all. From when they start ending talking about wrestling and rebels doing rebel quotes, guys, we are.
Glory, glory, and